everyone, welcome to my Flosstube channel, Thread the Needle. My name is Bonnie and I live in Newfoundland, Canada. And I am here today with my Flosstube episode number 26. And sit back and relax because I have a lot to show you. It's been a couple of days because I think I skipped a week in my normal recording of my videos because it was summer. I had family visiting, and so I decided to take a break, and there was actually almost a week where I didn't do any stitching. And let me tell you, towards the end of that week, it was almost like I was feeling like very, I don't know, anxious, or just like I just needed to get my stitching in my hands again. It was just a really weird feeling. I had never gone that long without actually even just putting just a stitch in. So as soon as family was gone for their visit, I picked up my stitching, and it was just like a calm came over me, and I can't explain it. I just love stitching so much, and I love sharing it with all of you guys. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. This is my Flosstube channel where I talk about all things cross stitch, all things full coverage cross stitch. And if you are returning, welcome back. Let's get started. All right, so as per usual, let's get started with my 3 focus pieces that I've decided to focus on this year. The first one is Ganesh, and what I'm going to try differently this time, I'm going to move over this way, and along with showing you what the piece should look like when complete, I'm hoping to be able to do a side-by-side picture of my current progress versus the progress that I had before since the last video. I think I have remembered to take pictures of every project prior to starting stitching on it in the last little while since my last video. But there might be 1 or 2 projects that I was just too excited to start, so I forgot to take a before picture. But I'm hoping that if I get into the habit of it, then we'll be good to go. Now, let's begin. As always, we begin with Ganesh. Here is what the completed picture is going to look like. Very colorful, very me. Ganesh holds a very specific and significant part of our culture, so I am super happy to stitch on it. And so what I'm going to do, so that in case I have forgotten to do a before picture, I think I only did it with the ones that I kind of work on daily. So if I do have the picture, great, you will see it in this area, and then you'll see my progress in this area. So I'm finally happy to say that I was stuck on one of the diagonals on this, and I don't even know why, but I got through it finally, and I've made progress. So here is where we are. I finally was able to complete this diagonal, and I started on the next, filled in more of the arm, but this part, I don't know why this diagonal was just taking me so long, but I finally got it completed. This is the end of the page. So as you can see, I'm going to feather my stitches along this horizontal line of pages to get across. And there's my progress on Ganesh. There was, like I said, with all these projects, there was a period of time where I wasn't stitching at all. So, but I managed to pick it back up, and in the last maybe week, 10 days, I have been stitching like crazy, and it's been great. I'm gonna go over my new, because you know me, I get bored with my rotation, and I'm always looking for a new rotation to use. So I've come up with a new plan. I'll go over that after I show you my focus pieces. So that's Ganesha. It's being stitched on 2/1 full cross on 22 count fabric there, and I am just thoroughly enjoying this so much. Every time I pick it up, the colors really speak to me. This part was difficult, so it took me a while to get past it, but I'm back into the colorful stuff, so I have a feeling it's going to move along nicely. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get some good progress on this. Now, moving right along, the next piece in my focus pieces is Siamese Fighting Fish by Anita on One Stipple 2. Sorry about the reflection, you guys. I'm really sorry. That's not helping you at all. Maybe I'll just keep it back here. One Stipple 2 stitch on Etsy. Anita has been so lovely to stitch along with. She gave me this pattern because she knew I loved she knew I loved full coverage, and she needed she wanted my opinion on the chart. It's beautiful charting. Let me wait till we get to the actual stitching, but I cannot say any more about how much I love the charting. She's done a wonderful job. She took an artwork from her son and converted it into cross stitch. And let's move on to what it's going to look like now. So I'm happy to say, here is the progress on that. Now, I am currently working on this diagonal here. I've started to fill in the top here, got all the dark colors, and then I'm going to get into, this is glow in the dark right here. I have to tell you, there are a few people, Anita herself also, who are stitching this on black fabric. I opted to stitch it on white, so that means I'm filling in all the dark colors, so all the black, all the 310, 939, which is dark navy, and 823, which is also a navy blue. So I have opted to stitch all of it on this, and I kind of like the way it has turned out. Let me see if I can focus on that there. I really like how it's coming out. The version that they're doing on black fabric also looks quite fabulous, but I think I prefer this one. It is going to take me much longer, especially because my focus, never have been a person to focus on one project at a time. So of course it's going to take me a while, but I just look at it as if I have a longer time to enjoy the projects that I love. So I get to enjoy many projects for a long period of time. And this is one of them. So this is where I am on this one. And it's coming along great. I'm doing it 1/1 on 28 count fabric. All right. Next up is the lovely mystery salve that I'm doing with the Cross Stitch Studio. And they had a little bit of a technical difficulties with their pattern. They were sending out page by page, and then when they got to the second column, they started sending out the first and the second page, and then when they got to the next one, some kind of technical difficulties with their PDF not reading properly on PK, which is Pattern Keeper, and as they know a lot of their people use Pattern Keeper to stitch with, they decided they did contact the developer of the app, but rather than trying to sort it out and figuring it would take time, and then that would mean that people wouldn't be able to stitch because there was some kind of business going on with the overlapping of the pages. So they said, you know what? Surprise, we're gonna give you a whole chart. So they did. So now I know exactly what my mystery sal is going to look like. So shall we compare? This is what the finished adorable owl is going to look like. I mean, you guys, look at that. So cute, isn't it? And let's see if look. That is just an adorable face. Now let's see where I am. I believe since the last time I showed you, I may have gotten quite a bit done. So I'm still on that top row, but here's how much I've got done there. I'm gonna hold it right here so that in case I need to show you my previous progress. So here is how much I've got done. This piece I am doing a variation on diagonal cross country with traveling across the diagonals. If you check out my tutorial videos, you'll know the difference. So diagonal cross country within a diagonal, you stick within your columns of diagonals. Diagonal cross country with traveling means that you still stitch in the diagonal, but you can travel into the other diagonals if you have floss left on your needle. So this is how much I've got done on this one. It is, I think it's going to be great. So it is actually quite a large piece. And and I think it's gonna look lovely framed. I think my plan is to kind of frame it no matting and just like a really old wood looking type of frame. So that's my plan for this one. I think it's gonna look great, and we're gonna hang it up in the cabin. I think it'll be wonderful. Now, on to my whips that I have to show you. Last time I did a bit of a whip parade, and I have to say, pulling at all of my whips, all of the UFOs, everything that I have in my pile, it kind of made me want to stitch on everything. And so what I've been doing now, at first I was using my random wheel so that it would, you know, pick a random project, but I think I wanted something that was a little bit more structured. So I have a list of all of my projects, and I decided just to go through the list. And the way I'm doing it is, so on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I have dedicated to the 3 focus pieces. The rest of the week, there's 4 more days in the week left. I pick a project for each day, and I write it out in my little notebook, and I say September 8th, I'm gonna work on my daily 100 project, and then I'm gonna work on this one. And then I list it out. So I don't even have to think about it anymore. I've already got it written out. And I'll go through the list, and I'll just recycle from top to bottom, go through all of it. And what I've decided to do is that of the 4 remaining days in my week, I'm gonna stitch 1 project each. So in total, I'm basically stitching 7 projects a week, 1 a day. That might change if for some reason one day I'm too tired and I don't have much time to stitch, but I'll still do my daily 100, or at least I'll try. So what I decided to do was kind of give myself a mini goal. So let's say I had decided to stitch on Autumn Owl Trio. I'll pick that one because that is the next one coming up that I'm going to show you. So let's say that was on my list to stitch on one night, and turns out, I don't know, things got delayed with family stuff, or I was just tired that day, or I had a headache, and I really just wasn't in the mind space to pick up my stitching. Or I just had just a little bit of time to stitch. So I decided to give myself a mini goal. Whatever project has come up on my list that I'm supposed to stitch on that night, I give myself a range of between 400 and 500 stitches. If I can finish it within the one night, great. The next day, I get to pick the next project on the list. If I haven't and I only got in like 200 stitches, then I do a second night on it. And I think that's going to work for now until I get bored of this idea and I think of another way to go about my rotation, because you know me, I'm gonna get bored. But for now, this is what I'm doing. So that's why I have quite a few projects to show you today. And let's begin. I've got coming up Autumn Owl Trio. And this is what it's going to look like when complete. As we know, I am not doing this section of orange. I've only started like halfway through, and I'm doing just the owls and the background. And here's how much I managed to do. I finished that diagonal up there. So here is how much I've got done. The orange is a little bit tedious, I'm not gonna lie, but I love this color of that pinky fuchsia purpley color. That's like my color. Like, I love stitching with it, and it's so much fun. And then next I'll move on to the next diagonal. So it's been lovely and fantastic, and I love stitching on this one. So this one I'm stitching it on 22 count fabric 2/1. All right, on to the next one. So the next one is Mini Moose Crossing, and I have been using that for my tutorials as well. So if you watch those, then you know how far I've gotten, but here you go. This is what the end result is going to look like, and I'm working on this corner right here. So this section right here. And whilst doing the videos, I'm finished one diagonal and have made a start on the next. So I am just super happy with the way this is turning out. Like, the detail in the tree trunk and the leaves and the branches. Love it, love it, love it. It is awesome. So this is where I am with this. I think this might be one of the projects that I don't have a before picture. So I'm trying to remember to make sure I take those before pictures so that I'll have something to show you here. Now, so this is what we have on this one. I think it's turning out fabulously. I'm stitching it on 18 count 2/1, and there you go. Next on the list, let's see. Next on the list is this one called Sunflower Bee. Here she is. So I am again beginning in this, in this corner over here. So as you can see, there's not a lot happening here before the petals, and it's going to be a long time before I get to that bee, but I'm going to keep moving on, keep stitching on. So this is, let's fold it this way. This is how much I've got done on Sunflower Bee. So I am working within the diagonal, trying to get as much done as I can. It's a lot of that green gray colors that are coming up, but I'm still thoroughly enjoying this. I'm doing them, as you can see, the diagonal is very wide. So I'm doing it in 20 across because it's not a lot of confetti, so it's easy to get through. When it comes up in the rotation again, I hope to finish that diagonal. Oh, and I'm stitching this on 18 count 2/1 full cross. Okay, next on the list is Mini Opening Night. And she is going to look like this beauty. How fun is this going to be? So I am happy to say I finished another diagonal on it. I'm still stitching the background, but it is still lovely. Oh wait, no, hang on now. Let's make sure I've got it the right side up, hey? Because I've done that in the past. I've shown you it upside down and who knows what side up. All right, this is the right way up because I always stitch my diagonals this way. This is the curly smoky bits on the outside, and this is where we are. So this is how much I've got done. Still just stitching background, but you gotta stitch the background before you get to the good stuff. So we might as well stitch through it. And then we move on to Golden Promises. You guys, I don't know why this was ever in my UFO pile. I thoroughly enjoy stitching this one. Here's what it's gonna look like when it's finished. Here we go. Another very me project. I'm very much enjoying it. And this is what I have done. This is my progress on it. So I converted my cross-country stitching on this from way back when into diagonal cross-country. So I don't know if you can see the diagonal lines there. So here's how much progress I have done on that. I'm almost, I'd say about halfway through the page because there's a lot done here that I don't have to do. So I'm very much enjoying that. And this is stitched on 18 count 2/1 full cross. And I just love the colors in this, and I can't wait to get to the flowers. That's going to be so much fun to stitch. Now we move on to, let's see. Yes, the London piece. So the London piece I pulled out, and I'm still trying to work through the diagonals because I did a little bit of cross country on this one. So let's show you what it's going to look like first. Oh, no, there it is. Right. So here is what it's going to look like when it's completed. And here is how much I've got done. It's really hard to see the progress when it's cross-country style, when it's such a big area that I'm working on, but I promise I did get some work done on it. I got at least, I got at least a few hundred stitches on it. So like I said, I was waiting until I at least got anywhere between 400 to 500 stitches before I moved on. So I got quite a bit of done on this. But it was a lot of filling in the diagonals because I had started it off as cross country and then I changed my mind and went to diagonal cross country. So that's why that piece is not as easy to pick out the progress on. Now, then we move on because we're in September now. So I kind of started this new rotation stitching plan kind of at the beginning of September. And so also I had to pick a new daily 100 because last month's daily 100, the owl, it worked so well. It helped me get that page finish and then onto more here. It's really good. I really enjoy the daily 100 that I'm doing. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep doing it. So the daily 100 that I decided to pick for September was a fun one. It is going to be Little Dreamer's Tree. This one. Can't see anything on that. Let me go this way. A little bit better. So Little Dreamer's Tree, that's what I decided to have as my daily 100. And I do know that I have a before picture, so that will come up. But I am stitching cross country in the diagonal on this with traveling into other columns. So this is how much I have. So we're just a week into September. So this is just a week's of progress and couldn't be happier. So that's at least, we're on what date now? That's at least 600 stitches put in. Right? So I'm very happy with the way it's going. So I very well expect quite a bit of progress I've done on this by the end of September. That is the plan. Now, also in the last little week, at the beginning of September, I worked on Enchanted Garden. So Enchanted Garden is going to look like this. For those of you out there who like it as much as I do, I'm sad to say that it's a retired chart, so it's not available for purchase. I got it long time ago, and I'm thoroughly enjoying stitching on it. So here, I'm gonna actually take the top off because it looks so much better when you can see the full thing. Here's how much I've got done. She is stitching up just fabulously. I can't get over it. This is on 18 count 2 over 1 full cross, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this. I don't know if you've noticed a theme, but I thoroughly enjoy all my pieces. So she's just so beautiful. I can't get over her. Love it, love it, love it. And let me put this back on before I forget. Then we move on to, we're gonna move on to Sapphire. So the next in my QS Birthstone series by Rachel Anderson. This is gonna be a fun one. Look at all those blues. I love this so much. Okay, so that's the Sapphire one. And here's how much I got done. Here. So what I had to do in order to kind of match it up with the other ones, I had to not stitch some of the background up here and down on the other sides so that the finished stitched area would be similar to the other ones that I already had stitched. And I was a little bored with the fabric, so as you can see, it's a little, I tried to do a little bit of coffee dyeing just to give it a little bit of texture and for me to look at something else besides a plain old white. But here's how much we have right now. Oh, sorry, wrong way up. I keep doing that, don't I? Here we are. QS Sapphire, and she's coming along great. So as you can tell, that's her forehead. And look, her face. Her face is gonna be right there. How fun is that? The last one I have to show you is another one of my favorites, the other series that I started. It is the 7 Deadly Sins. And I started with Avarice. And this is what she's going to look like when completed. I'm stitching in this corner up here. So I'm stitching right here. I have just begun to work on that curve, and I can't wait to get to the diamonds, and then of course all that goodness of her. But this is where I am. And here's how much I have. You guys, look. I cannot say more about how much I love the charting on all these charts. Like, look at the details. This is like the Baroque curtains in the background that's behind her, and it is luscious and so lovely to work on. I enjoy this so much. So as you can see, the curve outline of her halo, or not halo, but you know what I mean, that little, where the diamonds are gonna start right here. So I cannot wait. It's gonna be so much fun. And that is all my whips that I have to share with you. The last thing that I want to share with you, hubby, if you're watching, look away. It's the anniversary piece that I want to get done for my husband. We are going to be celebrating our 25th anniversary in a few years, and I wanted to stitch a little something special for him. So I had a picture of us when we first got married. This was before we had kids, when we both still looked very, very young, and I had it converted into a cross stitch by Heaven and Earth Designs. I got it commissioned, and they did it for me. They did a lovely job. Only thing is that it's huge, but I'm gonna try and get it done. And this is what it's gonna look like when it's finished. And I have already made a start on it. I'm stitching it on 28 count, so it's very tiny, but the material, you can't tell because I haven't pulled it over, but it's like a marbles material. So I did get a little bit more done on it right here. So this is the top of his head right there. So I kind of worked it out and did the math. I have to stitch, I think it was something like 6,000 stitches a month to reach my goal of finishing like a month or two before our anniversary, so that I have time to get it framed. And also, I don't know what to call it. Guys, I don't want to keep calling it the secret project. I thought maybe I'll just call it the silver project, because it's, you know, our 25th anniversary. It's the silver anniversary. So, or if you guys have any ideas of what I can call this, so I can refer to it as something when I'm, you know, putting it in my notes, or when I'm talking to you about it, so you'll know what I'm talking about. I was thinking of calling it the silver project, but if you have any other thoughts, please let me know. So that, I don't know, my goal is to try and get it done. I think it'll need a little bit of motivation, but I really want to get this done for him. And I think it'll be nice, a little memento, a little memory for both of us, of a time before we got older and we had kids and we were settled down and stuff. It was the very beginning of our marriage, and we're going to be celebrating 25, which is a pretty huge deal, so it's nice. So that is the project. So for now, I'll call it the silver project until you guys, if you come up with another option, let me know. So that is all the whips that I have to share with you today. I think we went through quite a few, so not bad. And I'm hoping to keep going on in this same method of picking a whip, because I have them all listed, and I'll just go through the list. They're not in any particular order. They're not in alphabetical order. They're not in order of size or anything like that. They're just listed randomly. So I'm just starting at the top of the list and going down the list. The only ones that I'm skipping are the 3 focus pieces and the mini moose crossing, because I want to work on that whenever I do a stitch with me. I've decided that that will be my stitch with me project. Another thing that I wanted to let you guys know is that ages ago, before I started Flosstube, I had a blog, and it was called My Stitch Diary at blogspot.com. I'll link it down below in the description, because I have decided to start it up again. And on that, you will see on the very side, you will see a list of all of my progresses. Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly. you can see I have a progress bar for all of my projects, okay? And it looks like this. So you can see at a glance how much progress I've made on all my projects. You see all the white? That's all the stuff that I haven't stitched yet. So it's a fun little, you know, place for me to go to see how I'm doing on all my projects, and I like to look back and see when I worked on something. And so I'm hoping to get back into the groove of writing on the blog again more frequently. I'm thinking a monthly post on the blog will be nice. Give a monthly update on how my stitching is going, and I do like having that progress bar there so I can keep an eye on things and see. I'm very visual, so I like seeing that progress bar on the blog so that I can see where I am at with each project. So that is something else for you guys to look out for if you ever want to pop on over and check it out. And let's see. The very last thing that I wanted to share with you guys is that I got 2 of my pieces back from the framers. I had actually given 3, but one was delayed because the frame cracked. The project was not damaged at all, but they had to order a new frame in and get it done for me. Now, I'm gonna try and see if I can get this done without as much little glare. So this is QS Peridot. Look, you guys. Okay, here we go. There you go. Isn't it lovely? Oh, it's such a, I don't know, it's such a nice feeling to get this final finished product after you've spent so long stitching on it, and it comes out so beautifully. So this is QS Peridot, number 3 in the birthstone series that I'm doing. I'm currently working on Sapphire, so that's number 4. We're not yet halfway through, but closer. The next one that I got back from the framers is one of my favorites, and the framing decisions and matting decisions that myself and the framer made was fabulous. You guys, this is QS Christmas Presents. It's the Santa project that I was working on for ages and finally completed, and I sent it off to the framers, and you guys, look at it. I don't know if you can tell, but that's like a navy blue, like textured, velvety mat there. And it's gorgeous. I love this piece so much. I don't care if it's not Christmas, it's going up on the wall. Like, it's amazing. Amazing. And I mean, it looks like a picture. But when you look close, you realize, nope, that's stitching. Right? Oh, I love this one so much. It came out fabulously. So that's it, you guys. That's all I had to share with you today. I know it's a little bit longer than I normally do. I hope you enjoyed seeing everything that I'm working on, and I hope to continue in this new rotation. I have a good feeling about it. It will. I think this new method of rotation will last for a little while at least. And we'll go from there. So it has been a blast. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And I hope you all have a lovely evening, day, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. Stay safe, have fun, happy stitching. Bye now.